Dixie Doggers TV presents We're fueled by Showtime dog food. If you want your stud dog, your kennel, or your business advertised at the beginning of this, just like you're hearing now, you can contact us at dixiedoggers01@gmail.com or call 205-388-2558. All right, everybody.
Howdy.
We back at it again, trying to keep these things coming out more frequent, keeping them coming to you as often as we can within reason. Been really busy, even busier than normal. We've got a heat wave going on. It's kicking our ass. We've got hogs coming in at every property nonstop all the time. That's kicking our ass. Yeah. Dogs are getting good workouts though. It's tough on them right now. It's been, I think I think you got a picture of it from the other night or when you were videoing. It was 115 real feel, with humidity at 89%. It's ridiculous. And it's hot, bad. It wears on your body. I mean, more so than average, of course. And your dogs, it's detrimental to their health. It can kill them quick.
Yes, it can.
So that's what we're going to discuss some in this on the heat and how and I know we've went over several little things before, but it seems like we get better response and stuff on some of these episodes that we're discussing more along the lines of the important structures instead of just, talking shit and having a good time and all that, which we like to do that. We want to keep it open and light and funny and as well as we can. But at the same time, we got to be serious on it. When it's this hot, people that run a walk-in catch dog, it's, wait till you sit down and you're close and then vest them up. I know a lot of guys vest up, and we do ourselves because you never know when we're going to have to dump ours, but we don't really use a lot of lead or walk-in catch dogs. We have a lot more, I guess you'd say, we send them from longer distances. They're more of a running catch, extremely rough dogs. And so we try to watch the ones that we vest. And when we do vest them up, the ones that we vest up, very seldom do they ride in a box that's enclosed ever. They're usually clipped up on an open bed, or they're in a straight summer box.
Yeah. And a lot of times we're not running like a full catch vest. We're running a pro plate.
We never run a full catch vest. Never. I guess pro plate's what we've really swapped a lot to.
I'd like to get some more boar bibs, but right now we're just trying to kind of see how much. So far, the pro plates have been working very well. When you pick them up, you feel of them. At first, if you don't have anything right on site to compare it to, they're thick. They feel heavy, but they are not at all. When you hold it up against another competitor's vest, and there's several very, very good quality manufacturers out there, and I mean, there's a couple right off top. Southern Cross and Hardcore. That's going to be the two top. That's for us. Now, that doesn't mean that you're wrong or the other ones are not any good. Does not mean that. I'm more familiar with these two because that's what I've used for a long time. And the way the Pro Plate is built, it's like a short catch vest. It comes just behind the shoulder, about 2.5 inches or so. Yes. Which with the boar bib, it's more open. But you can get shoulder flaps, guards put on, but it doesn't have anything behind the shoulder under here. A lot of our dogs get hit right there because of the style dog we have. Our style dog is stupid son of a bitch is what ours are called most of the time. Dumbasses.
water heads.
And on the boar bib, it also has an adjustable portion for the ribs. So if you can adjust it more to if you have a dog that's wide, or if you got a dog with a really deep chest that's got some sight hound or something like that in it.
Yeah, I like that part, the adjustability on it. It really helps a lot. But if, like we're saying though, but if you've got a full vest and you got a American Bulldog that's 140 to 150 pounds, or Cane Corso, or Presa, Mastiff of some kind, Great Dane, any of those, and you have to have that thing vested all the way up tight. They make some really, really good full vests now, for sure. But it's still hot. So there's a few things, like I said, you can do. You take your precaution. Don't vest him up until it's time for him to go. And that works. And there's a lot of guys that do that all the time.
First step is, when it's this hot, is do not hunt a dog that's not in shape. Don't say, "Oh, I'm gonna take the dog out. I ain't hunted in a couple months." No, don't do that. Don't do that.
No, like we got that little bull terrier, Happy. He was in shape, but it was a round shape.
Yeah, more like a 30-gallon drum. Yes,
he's like a tank, and I'm glad we got him conditioned before it got bad hot. Yeah. Getting him, he's still not what he should be, but he's work in progress, and that takes time.
Just last week was so hot, I had to slow down a little bit with him. Even 10 minutes, and in the afternoons. The temp is only 85, 87, but the humidity is that much in percentage. So the real feel's still 90 something.
Well, last week our temps, I don't think we had any days, probably, like you said, was less than about 87 to probably 90, was probably more 90 to 92. We had quite a few days. Yeah. And then we had that when we're talking like 6 or 7 in the late evening. So anytime before that's really just ridiculous. You can't do it. And that's like kind of more along the lines of what we're discussing in this episode here, is how to attack this heat. Make sure you got a good kennel set up, or a good chain set up, first of all.
Plenty of shade.
Gotta have shade.
Not completely in shade.
Yes. And if you've got kennels, we've got quite a few, and the way ours are set up, you can, if the wind blows, it's going to cut down through the middle of them. We got them in rows. And so if it gets too bad and there's no wind, we could always set a big shop fan up at one end and get them a little air stirring. Another old thing we've done for a long time, 2-liter Coke bottles. But you don't even have to have 2 liters. You could take a regular water bottle like that one Nate's got and freeze them. Stick it in their water bucket. Of course, it's going to thaw out pretty quick, but it keeps the water temperature down. And for a long time, we would just take and stick them in the dog boxes when we were hunting.
Just if you got a chewer, you got to watch them, because they'll eat that water bottle.
Yes.
So if you got a dog that likes to eat things instead of just lick them, which happens.
But you can, like I said, there's so many things that you can do to help. If you have a diamond cut box or a metal box, and the top on that son of a gun is shiny, it's going to get hot. To be honest with you, though, the shiny material reflects more. The other ones, they'll draw heat in. But you can buy some of that thin indoor-outdoor carpet, put over the top of them. That can help some. Yeah.
They also make like the portable electric fans now.
You can screw right on.
I think those are usually $50 a piece, something like that.
I don't even know if they're that much. It just depends.
I know they've went down.
I haven't looked at the ones there. There's quite a few guys putting them on their dog boxes, dog kennels. There's not a lot of times where we're going to get that extreme, because, I don't know. We breed dogs for this. That's kind of what and I'm not saying we're the only people who have dogs like that, but you can't have.
It's hot here all the time.
It's hot, exactly. It's always hot, so you can't have dogs that can't handle the heat. Yeah. And I have seen a lot of them. I've seen, and it's the ones that you don't think. The ones you think that when you pull up and you see this German wire hair pointer over there, or an Airedale with hair 4 inches long, fur just hanging all off of him, that dog runs so much cooler than a slick haired, short haired pointer.
I've noticed white dogs don't seem to take heat very well.
No, not here. It could just be us. I don't know.
Not my personal experience.
No, hell no. Everyone we had, they get smoking hot. They overheat very badly.
Very quickly.
I like black dogs. And I don't know. I mean, it just or brindle, dark colored dogs. I don't know what it is. It seems like they can handle that heat. A lot better. And
besides just like general heat stroke, the next thing would be dehydration. And dogs don't show dehydration very well. It's one of those things where it's like you don't really tell they're thirsty, and then all of a sudden they're on the ground and they're like, "Oh, I'm dying of thirst." And it's like heat stroke, but it's a little different. I don't know.
Heat exhaustion.
Yeah.
I guess would be close.
Yeah, I mean, they all seem pretty similar. But I mean, of course, dogs can get cramps, they can get sore, they'll get feeling bad, and just in general, just like same as a person when they get dehydration.
People forget that. They forget that part.
They just can't say, "Hey, I have a headache," or "Hey, I'm cramping." So you see your dog walking funny, it's like he might have a cramp. And I ain't seen it very often, but I've seen it. I've seen a dog get a cramp, and it's kind of odd looking.
Yeah, I've seen them jumping around, kicking their leg like a damn mule, jumping around. It's crazy. You don't see it very often, but like I said, at the same time, it still happens. You can make a water tank pretty reasonable. There's a multitude of ways. There's never really an excuse not to be able to hydrate them, but a lot of times they don't drink as much as they should. Got to be careful too when you're out hunting. Those old beaver ponds, stagnant water and shit like that,
full of diseases.
Giardia. It's a real deal thing. It comes from beaver. Or and so a lot of guys hunt river bottoms.
It's just like I can't feel good. My dog drinking water that's pitch black.
No, that's like, one of the only times I'll even get onto a dog really like thrash them a little bit. But damn, quit acting retarded.
Soaking their food in water, it takes a little acclimation for some dogs. Some dogs don't bother them at all.
You put some Dine.
Yeah, the Dine
in their water.
The only issue I found with that is I've had a few dogs so far that like will not hardly touch it if it's just water. They're trying to be picky.
I'm talking about putting the food with the water.
Oh yeah, that's what I was saying. Like if feeding Cheetah, like that bitch dog that had puppies. If I put just water and food in there, she's not gonna eat it. She's like protest. And I'm like, why? Put some Dine in there, just like a teaspoon, just enough to make it.
But that's what they need. It's not going to hurt them.
Oh no. Because I was just going to do water and feed in the morning and then do Dine, water and feed at night. Just because I was just going to put just a little something in the morning. Really just trying to get her to. Because
are you talking about just floating the food in the mornings?
Yeah, that's what I was doing.
That's floating food. Yeah. So if you're floating the feed in the morning with nothing in it, and then you float it in the evening with something in it, that's why she's doing that. Either do it both times or don't float it in the mornings. Give her something else, maybe go to raw or that would change it up a little bit. I don't know. We got so many things that we want to do and try, and we're finding time to do all of it. It's getting to where we're able to do more of it, and in which we, like I said, we've always had a lot of dogs, and to be able to have that many, it takes an effort. There's no doubt. My youngest son, Logan, he's really stepped up in the last 2 years or so, a couple summers. He's really helped with the dogs a lot. Last summer he was, I don't know, he wasn't really into it too much. He's like, it's a lot of work, 40 head of dogs, or more. Now we're about 50. We got some pups and stuff, but this year you can tell it's like we went to bay pens, and we've hit a hole here and there. And so when we get done, come home, We hand Logan $100 bill or something like that, or a couple $100, whatever it works out, because he's put in that work, put in that time. And so getting that reward, it keeps him a little more interested. And now he's getting to where he's starting to pay a lot of attention to the dogs. He can tell you what's going on with him.
He's still 16.
Yeah. It's one of those deals though. I don't know how much he'll stay in it, but he seems like he's in it more and more.
Yeah.
Which that's, like I said, that's one of those things, dealing with the heat. Because that's the main time he does most of the work. Because like during the winter and stuff, in the fall or hunting season, or I ain't gonna say hunting season, but when we're always up and running, me and you are messing with him a lot more, so it cuts his workload down. Yeah. And right now, we're busy doing all this other stuff. His workload is in excess. So, but that's how the heat can whoop him. Gets him beat down, and it gets to where you're like, shit.
Yeah, he don't like waking up at 6 o'clock in the morning to water him, but he agrees it's much better than waiting till 9.
Yeah, and that's the thing. They gotta have clean, fresh water several times a day.
Yeah,
at least twice a day.
Right now, he's been watering on before 10, before 2, and before 6.
Mm-hmm.
They're just somewhere in there, because it's like, most of the time, the first water is going to be, you have a few dogs that don't have water, 6, something like that, maybe a dozen. On a day, I guess the dogs were just being really bad. But usually the second and third water, there's 1, maybe 2 dogs that don't have water. And so, I don't know. I think the dogs figured out, like, well, I'll knock my water bowl over.
Well,
I'm thirsty in 10 minutes.
Yeah, running so many game dogs for years, having a bigger yard with quite a few game dogs, helping my dad and my uncle. And you would have certain dogs that if you pulled up, you'd see them. They just flip their bowls over.
Come see me.
Yeah, just come see.
Come see me.
And in all honesty, if you feed your dog, wait till he gets done eating, pick his bowl up, don't leave it. That's what, that's the best thing to do. But when you have a big yard, it can be very time consuming, and you'll skip process, skip steps in it and be like, oh, damn, I don't have time. And then you're running. And so things can get out of hand. And that's something that we've been kind of incorporating into our regimen, is a lot of the stuff from the game dog world, exercise, nutrition, different things like that. We're going to get into some more of that on some other episodes as well. Because you got to be, like I said, dealing with the heat. First off, your dog, you got to have him in shape.
Yeah.
They can't get in shape by sitting on a chain or in a kennel. You got to run them. Mm-hmm. And if you're not hunting them, you need to exercise them.
Something.
So Nate been doing, you can tell them what you've been doing with some of them.
So I got like would it be considered a spring pole? I don't know, because it's just a spring mounted to a rafter.
Yeah.
I didn't know if that's
all it is. Yeah.
And so I got that and a short, it's like a rubber tie from like a tie down strap. That thing's been working pretty good. And I just feed the hole, and I got a coon hide, and I've threaded that rubber piece and knotted it back off.
It's not hard on their grip.
Yeah.
A lot of game dog guys use the rubber tires.
Yeah. I just
like a dirt bike or something.
Yeah. With the coon hide, it's like that hide, like they could probably maybe put their teeth through it, but probably not. The leather would probably just stretch enough to get.
Because it's a cured hide.
Yeah. And so I usually let them work on that for probably 5 minutes, something like that, till I can tell they're kind of getting tired. And then I'll walk them around a little bit. Like with Happy, I usually start him off on the treadmill, let him get warmed up a little bit, let him run a couple minutes, and let him watch me put the coon hide on the spring. And then he'll work the spring for about 5 minutes, and then I'll put him back on the treadmill for about 5, because he'll get tired. He'll sit there and just look a little bit because he's not in shape still.
He's getting a lot better.
Oh, yeah. The last time was much better. It was just so humid. And I was out there pouring sweat. I was like, I feel you, fat guy. I understand. And so I put him on the treadmill for another 5 minutes, and then I let him chase me with the coon hide around the yard. He's got a a vest on, like a weight pull vest, and I got like got a brake rotor on it.
It's a weight pull harness.
A weight pull harness, yeah, that's
it's a harness.
And so I usually do that until I'm really good and tired, which is usually he was already tired. That's why I do that last, because I know I'm not going to last long at it either. Because usually it's 7 o'clock, 7:30, something like that. Last hour of daylight, because that's and so that's been working pretty good as far as just getting them to where, hey, he went from being completely out of shape to now I'd feel comfortable. Like, oh, if he got on a hog and had to hold it for 15, 20 minutes, I don't think he'd heat stroke.
No.
Yeah. Which, I mean, that usually doesn't happen.
Depending on how far he had to get there.
Yeah.
That's
but crazy things happen sometimes.
In the heat, you gotta get as close as you can get. Like I said, even with our dogs, we cut loose from 300 to half a mile. I know that sounds crazy, something, but there's times where I'll cut that son of a bitch loose and just go get him. We ain't running him. We're gonna stop him.
Yeah. We're running right behind the dogs.
Yeah,
we cut him loose.
You got to get there.
Yeah,
and you gotta have a plan. Even though it's chaos, it's controlled chaos in our case. Because I don't. If we have a big hunt going, I literally sit down, do my homework. I look at the land, I look at the topo maps, and I'm like, okay, this is a funnel here, or hey, here's how they're coming in here, or we've ran this way in the past, and so if we don't have to deal with the heat, I might just drop them and let them run with the other dogs. But if we got to deal with the heat, we hold them back as long as we can, get as close as we can, and do it more. We try to get it to where it's almost like a walk-in. If I can get less than 100 yards, I'm doing great. It helps.
Another thing, like especially just with hunting, dogs will lose weight from water really quick when it's this hot. But they'll also lose a lot of weight because they won't eat as much, and so
you don't eat as
soaking
much.
Their food helps a lot, and then B12 will help build up their appetite, get them to eat more. And so a lot of times if you have a dog that's just not taking the heat well, or one that don't like to do that, I like mixing like some electrolytes, like a paste tube, like for horses. Just give just enough to it really depends what the tube says, doses are different, but just enough to get that salt in there to make them drink some more, and some B12 to make them eat eventually. Because a lot of times they're not having it. They don't want to eat.
They like I said, it's like us. You get so hot, you don't want to eat a whole lot. You might be hungry, but you'd rather eat a salad or a light sandwich or something instead of
eat a little something.
A big bowl of spaghetti, or some chili.
Exactly.
You don't want to do all that. And then, but like I'm talking about that water tank, and then this is something that I want to start doing. I haven't done it, but I think it's going to work. Is put some B12 and Dine in our water tank as well. But you got to be careful doing that because of the residue and the buildup inside of it. You'll have to clean your tank out. Yeah. It's not hard to do because I built some out of the diamond cut material and it's all right. But honestly, I like just the PVC pipe with a clean out on one end and just a spigot on the other end. It's not that expensive. I mean, it can be because that stuff went through the roof. It's expensive, but a lot of times you can find a piece of pipe laying around. Somebody might have one or a couple of fittings, something to cut the cost down. And if not, then I used instead of using the Schedule 40 or Schedule 80, the real thick stuff, I used kind of the mid grade, not the super thin wall. I didn't use the thin wall drain, but I used the thicker wall drain, which is not Schedule 40. But anyway, a lot of people don't know what all that means. But anyway, it's thick enough, but it's not too thick. It's cheap enough, but it's not the cheapest. Yeah. And I think I built one that's 6 foot. No, it was 5 foot. It was 5 foot long. It'll hold roughly 10 gallons. I know it'll hold 8. Because of the way we designed it. Because like I said, I got an elbow on it and it comes up. So what we do is we'll put a couple bags of ice in it, then we'll put some water in it. I never fill it all the way full. Don't let it get hot and stagnant. Pretty much fresh water every time we go. I don't leave the water in there. Don't do that dumb shit. Don't do it. People do that and they just leave it because you're lazy.
Mold.
Turn the damn thing on and drain it.
It's like, shit, you didn't put in all the work to go hunt and do all these stuff. You're going to skip little shit
so
like that.
I think putting the B12 and some dine or something in there would definitely help. Well, especially when we're hunting cut several days in a row, because we still hunt no matter how hot it is.
Remember, I had made that concentrate of like that pink, what was I calling it? Like strawberry milk or some shit like that. Rodney and I was calling it, and basically just mixed it like 4 times stouter than what I was normally dosing it, and that way I could just like pour a little bit in the water and swirl it up, and that was working pretty good. We did that when we did the ADHA Tri-County Hog Bash, and that seemed to help.
Yeah, it did, because it wasn't nowhere near as bad as it is now. It's just starting to get humid, but I mean now it sucks.
Yeah,
we went.
That was a warm up.
Saturday morning, we went up there. The hogs to come into the cornfield, and Eminem went out, found his first. Well, ain't the first hog he's found, but that was like he went out. There was other dogs out. We put him out. He broke off from them, went down, and he got him up and got him going. Yeah. So the other times he was by himself, and we knew the hogs were there. Even though it was still a 100% fair chase wild hunt, we knew the hogs were there because we had the cell cams. This one we didn't. It was just like, regular hunting. You don't have cameras, you don't have bait or none of that. You ride around, you find a track or some sign, you put them out. Well, we found some sign, and we knew it wasn't too awful old, but at the same time, it's all these little thunderstorms popping up, washes all your scent. So, but anyway, and we still made, I don't know, we hunted several hours, and the dogs, they held up good. They done good, but it got hot quick, very quick.
I think we dropped at like what, 4:55, something like that.
5 o'clock, about 5.
And I think we were home by 9:30 or 10.
I think it was a little after 10 we got home. It was like a 30-minute drive. I think altogether we only ran like 4 hours, 3.5, 4 hours. But I mean, they worked the whole time. It was nonstop because they were on hog from the time we got out of the truck pretty much till we picked them up. That was a good little hunt, especially the way it worked out with them young dogs finding their own. Because Louie, another one of Nate's pups, he's a little kimmer, and he went down there. I'll tell you, that dog's got a mouth on him. Holy shit.
Surprised me.
Yeah, it was loud.
I'm glad he barks.
Sound like a hound.
Oh yeah, because he barks loud as hell in the box, and it's aggravating just because he's so loud. Eminem pisses me off because he whines. If Eminem's barking in the box, I'm really surprised. I don't hardly ever do that. I say that. He'll do it tomorrow. But Louie, don't ever whine. But he'll just like randomly just start bawling like when you're right beside it. And it's just so loud. It's like I just want to choke you.
Yeah. Well, I mean, he barks like that, keeps it in there. Yeah. All right. You'll know where he's at anyway.
Oh yeah.
It turned out to be a really good hunt though for those dogs, for us as well. Went back last night. We were gonna make another round. We got there and dropped them out. And Eminem, same dog we're talking about, he don't want to go nowhere. He keeps coming right back up.
Oh yeah, just like carpet munching every female dog there is.
What's he doing? We had midnight. She had come in heat, and Rodney hadn't noticed it until we got up there and got out and we looked. And of course, that just threw the whole hitch in the giddy up, because we had 4 females in his body. He brought all females and we brought all males.
Yeah.
So I think we had 6 males in the truck.
And only 2 of them were over a year old.
Mm.
So, yeah. Louie never.
2 of them? I don't know.
Yeah, Bronco and Hank.
Yeah. But they were studying other things besides hog hunting.
Yeah.
But anyway, so I guess that's another thing you got to deal with, another kind of heat you got to deal with. So you got to deal with that too. But anyway, so like I said, they done good. They held up well with the temperature and the humidity. So that, you know, something's going right. Something being done right and correctly. So make sure you take care of your flea and tick problems. That's another thing in the heat. Yeah. Because the anemia will set in so fast.
And a flea's life
cycle. Any parasites, make sure you got that under control.
Yes.
Especially in this heat.
That flea's life cycle can happen so fast here in the South. Yeah. I mean, like you're talking about an egg being laid, the flea hatching, and that flea laying eggs in 7 days.
Yeah, I was going to say that week. It's all a week.
Or sooner. If it's like when you're talking 60+% humidity all the time.
And then you got
never below 70.
Not just the high humidity part. You got all these little rain showers.
Oh, yeah.
You got damp moisture everywhere. So if you got dogs at chain spots or in kennels that's on the ground, and there's nothing wrong with any of those setups. They all work. They have worked, and they'll continue working. But you just got to cover your ass on that. So one thing that you can get the permethrin, it's was it 38% that we buy? It's strong, so we dilute it. We split it. We busted it down. Nate busted it in half this time. Yeah. You know, sprayed the dogs and stuff. And that's up to you. Yeah. You do your thing how you want to, but we done it worked pretty good with that permethrin and stuff. You know, we spray it like on the dogs, in the houses, around their area. Another thing that will help is pine sol. I'm telling you, it works. I don't know how many people have used it, or if it's, and there might be a ton of people who use it and know about it. I don't know. I never talked to many people who have ever used pine sol.
Yeah.
There was a man come in the other day and he was talking about it, and I said, yeah, and it works. You got to get it out there and you got to put it on pretty heavy. Spray their area down real good. You can spray their dog inside their dog house, under it, and all that. I think that's one of the bigger issues is, you know, people, they want to get Bravecto or something that's easy, give it to the dog and say, okay. And then when it doesn't work, they're like, well, my dog still has fleas.
Yeah.
Like,
well, fleas don't appear from thin air.
Exactly. They're there. And I mean, if your chain spots or your kennels or whatever, they need to be treated. And they need to be treated pretty, especially where we live at, frequently.
Yeah. Right now, I've been treating once a week.
Yeah.
Just because we can't have the risk of, we have a flea infestation. And
it happens. It still happens.
Yeah.
I mean,
about once a year we'll have a bad one. But ours seems to be right when it starts getting dry again.
I think a lot of ours is where we take our dogs out and we go somewhere, hunt or whatever for a day or two, or we, you know, go to events or something like that, and then when we come home, we're dragging them back and forth. You know, and the dogs, they hold good. We keep the proper medications and stuff on. So we don't have to, it's not a harsh thing.
Oh.
But every now and then, though, you'll get one or two dogs. And, man, you can't figure out why this dog is like this dog might be losing weight. You've wormed it. You've given it flea and tick treatment. You've done all this stuff and a million things. But there's something that you didn't quite get.
Yeah.
It could be one type of worm that you didn't get because you didn't worm it just hard enough. You didn't have quite enough. Sometimes that's what it takes. Like, and we've had to do that. We've had dogs. Nate's like, he's told me, he's like, I've already wormed this dog. He said, I wormed it 3 days and then waited a week, wormed it 3 days, waited a week, wormed it 3 days, and some is still, they'll start doing real good. And then after a week or two, they start falling back off. And you can ask him, I told him, I was like, worm it again. Use something different. And that's another thing. You want to change your wormer up.
Oh, yeah.
And I know there's probably people out there that have one thing that they use all the time. And I'm not saying that that's right or wrong by no means. That's you. That's your dog. You do what you want to do. But for us, it doesn't work. Immunity gets started, and then it's like you're doing nothing.
Yeah, because like any of our parasites, they can just produce so many generations. And so if they have immunity, their offspring's going to have some immunity. And so just making sure when your dog has worms, worm it correctly. That's the biggest thing.
And if you got dogs that are hard keepers, hard gainers, or if you've had a dog that has had a run with the worms or with fleas and has became anemic, which having fleas, worms result from that.
Yeah.
I mean, the dog's sitting there chewing fleas, they ingest them. It's a never-ending cycle.
Won't get tapeworms.
Yes, get rid of all them parasites. So if you have something that happens like that, we use a mixture called satin balls. I've got a recipe for it. We can hook y'all up with that. Most guys that's been around it, they kind of know what it is. It's you take hamburger meat. A lot of people use Total cereal, or you can use Special K or something like that, corn flakes. Use a cereal like that, and then you have wheat germ. I can't even think all of it now.
Oats.
Coconut oil, oatmeal. Then you have
flaxseed,
flaxseed oil,
unsulfured molasses.
Yeah, I think so. Then you put the molasses to it, a little bit of salt.
That's some rough tasting stuff.
Yeah, that. It is pretty rough. But those dogs just roll it into a ball about the size of a golf ball is what we use. And you can freeze them, put them on some parchment paper, freeze them up, and then when you get ready to feed or as a snack or something like that for your dog, give them one of those, one or two to start out with. You can give them a couple for a day or two. Then I would skip a couple days, no more than 2 days. Then give it to them again. What I like to do when I'm basically having one for a keep would be do it for 3 days, skip a day, do it for 2 days, skip a day, do it for 3 days, skip, continue like that. Which, like I said, you got eggs and stuff that's in it. It's just a mixture. It works really good. It will put weight on a dog. If you use that, I'm telling you, I don't care what it is. It'll put weight on it regardless. Now, if your dog still has parasite, it's not going to hold the weight, but it will put the weight on the dog. So that's something else that you can use there. And also, that's something else you can feed while it's hot. And so that way your dog's getting enough of what he needs. There's so many, like I said, there's so many dogs right now, they're not going to eat that much. I know a lot of ours don't.
No. If you have dogs outside.
Yeah, I was going to say, there's probably a lot of people right now that they're not pushing their dogs or hunting.
I wonder if people that have less humidity, even like when it's hot, like people that live out west in the Southwest, I wonder if their dogs have similar reactions. I wonder if it's due to the heat or if it's because of the humidity.
I don't know. Maybe we can get in with some.
Anybody from the Southwest, answer that if you can.
Yeah, that'd be nice because that's something I don't know. Like I said, I don't know if it's just heat and humidity or both.
And if y'all have different experiences, hey, hit us up, tell us. We'll spread the news like, hey, so-and-so experienced this because, we're based out of the Southeast, so we can only speak on our experience.
Yep. Because
we're not going to go out here and be like, oh, up north they do this. It's like, I don't know. I'd like to think they do that.
We know people that in other areas, and we can go by what they tell us. That's why I said we don't really know anybody out that way that we've asked that question. We know some people out there, but we don't know anybody. We haven't talked to anybody about it. So that'd be a good topic to have to actually discuss. Then more on the stuff about hunting in the heat. You got to be ready for the heat stroke, or when a dog has severe heat exhaustion. You got to know what to do. And And there's a lot of guys I know, without a doubt, they know how to handle it. If you take alcohol can save a lot. Get them pads, rub that belly.
Yeah.
But first and foremost, I guess the good old creek. Get them to a creek, some cool water.
Don't come directly in it.
Yeah, I was going to say, try to cool them down.
If you put them directly in it, it's kind of like if anybody's ever worked outside and got too hot, then immediately went in. It's like, oh, I feel bad. It's the same thing, and
basically goes in like a shock.
And if your dog is having a heat stroke, it's probably going to kill them.
Yeah,
I mean, but as far as like you said, alcohol, a little bit of that, just enough to create some evaporative cooling, but don't just dunk them in there. That ain't gonna help.
It ain't. But you gotta. You can. I mean, get a bag of IV fluids. But it don't even have to be IV. It can just be subcutaneous. You can take saline solution. And I mean, I've just injected it right up under the skin. Got to do what you got to do to keep them going.
Most definitely.
I've had them where I knew they were on the verge of not making it, and I haven't had to do it in years and years. But you can tip the ears. That's only in the worst case scenario. Tipping the ears is take about that much on the very tip, cut it off, lets that blood go.
That's one of those last resorts.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. That's not one of them. You're like, oh man, my dog's getting hot. Let me cut his damn ear off. No, not that. That is, don't do it. Don't do it.
It's like, oh, I've coated my dog in rubbing alcohol.
That's really one of those things where you need to have somebody there that's familiar with that. Get to a vet if you can get to a vet, of course. Yeah. But just like I said, it's a lot of people, they try to cool that dog down and try to cool him down way too fast, or they don't cool him down enough. They work on him out there on the tailgate or in the back of the truck or on the buggy or whatever. Go to your truck, turn the truck on, turn the air on. Put him in the back seat or in the front seat or in the floorboard. Let him cool off a little bit. Don't turn it on wide open on ice cold. Just have it where to help him cool down some. Try to keep some kind of electrolytes with you. That's one thing. That's what we were talking about this whole time, is making these little mixtures and concoctions and utilizing all this stuff as a precursor to be prepared. That's just like, I drink this stuff here in the evenings, so that way the next morning I've got something in my body. So if you got something in you, you got something to work with. But if you don't, and all they got, I gave them water. Water ain't enough. I'm sorry, it's not. It is not. Not when it's working dogs. If you got a dog that ain't doing shit, that might be enough. But a working dog or a hunting dog that's really, and there's a difference. I think all dogs that do something are working dogs. Then there's hunting dogs, totally different thing to me. Hunting dog, it has
hunting dog is a style of working dog.
It's still work. Yeah. And so any dog is just like a person who has to perform physically. They need to have more. If you got a guy over here that's taking, supplements, vitamins, and all this stuff, he's probably going to outdo the guy who doesn't take anything but just drink water and eat bread. Even though that guy works and does the same amount of physical stuff, they're not going to have the same capabilities. This other guy's he's going to have more stamina. He's going to be stronger. He can go farther. So you got to think like that on that part with your dogs. I'm trying to think of anything else I could think of that would be helpful to, as far as like heat. I don't know. That's the main things that I know of. But hunting in the heat, I like, if I can go to where it's less than 85 degrees, that's when I like to hunt. I'd love it if it was 55 degrees, but I'm just saying in heat.
Yeah.
If you watch it's going to be a time frame, because like right now for us, it's going to be from like 2 a.m. to probably 8 a.m. is going to be our running times. So if it's 80 degrees at 2 o'clock in the morning, that's when we need to go. That's just the way you got to play it, for me to get the best out of it.
I agree.
Yeah. Well, I don't know any other way to do it. You got to have, try to set them up for success all you can if you're going to really hunt. Make sure you got some sign. I know a lot of guys, they get off on being able to drop a dog and it go 1.5 miles and hunt and no sign and do all that. But me, and I've got dogs that'll do that. But those dogs, just because they'll go that far don't mean that they ever even have to.
They do all that hunting and waste all that energy. Mm-hmm. And it's like, when it's this hot, get in, get out, let's go.
Yep.
Get the pig, let's go home.
Said that they don't have to hunt that far. They will, but they don't have to.
Yeah.
Because I try to get close enough. Homework. Try to get to where when we take them, we're going to cut them a track. And there's a lot of times where if I don't see enough sign, I ain't going to turn loose. I'm not just going to run them to burn them out. I go to another property. I'm not saying I ain't going to hunt them or go to another part of the property or whatever you want to say. And that and I think we've only went, last night was the first time that we went hunting and cut out, and we did not
even run one.
We didn't even run a hog. And now, like I said, that's having dogs in heat and stuff. That, of course, we cut the hunt short then because it's like it just wasn't happening at all.
Yeah, uphill battle.
Yes. Now, if we'd had some different dogs there, it wouldn't have been an issue. But having those little young male dogs, they weren't studying nothing about no damn pigs. So, but I think, of course, getting around water, that's probably a good place to start. Ponds, lakes, rivers, creeks, whatever. We hunt a lot of river bottom, flooded timbers kind of stuff, and there's usually hogs around that area, depending on where you're at. I don't know. I guess every place is going to be different, but when it gets this hot, they're going to be close to it, or try to be close to water anyway. So that's where I'd go, and I'd try to go at night or early morning, close to water where I can get it down 80 degrees or so, and that should set you up for optimal success, I think.
I agree. We've also caught a lot of hogs in like 5-year-old plus cutovers, something like that, or like a pine thicket that's got a lot of briars, or like a kudzu patch, which I don't really like hunting kudzu.
Really thick.
Yeah, something that's either a thick enough canopy from the foliage, or the heat is reflecting off of it, and so under it, it's just all shade. Mm-hmm. Now, I mean,
well, they get in there and they dust themselves.
Yeah.
If you get down in there and crawl in there, you'll see.
It's just rough as hell.
Yeah.
But the pigs will be in it.
Yeah, we've caught a lot of them in it. I mean, it's bad thick. But that's also, generally, that's where we catch them after the cool run's over.
Yeah.
You go over there and you hunt them. That's where they're bedding at.
Yeah.
And so it depends on what time you're hunting, really.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. The creeks and stuff are definitely good for the feeding, and I think like a lot of those thicker areas are better for the bedding. That's just more how your hogs are in your area or wherever you're hunting.
That's what I said.
You got variables on that.
Well, you got to be careful what you say, because people they read into things so much more than what they really are. If you say, well, hunt on this creek over here and you could catch a hog. No, they don't take it for that. They take it for, well, you told me to go over there and do it and I didn't catch nothing.
Yeah.
Or something, or like whatever. And, or like we had and I want to address a situation about that too. I was talking on one of the other podcasts about where we went to the dog hunters event, and another team that was hunting it, and me and the guy was talking, and he told me that there was a guy on his team that the cur dogs that he had and the bulldog, they was missing, and they just wouldn't catching and hanging on. And I said something about that on one of the episodes. And that guy, me and him had a discussion about it. His wife contacted me, and they took it as I was running their dogs down and all that. And that's not what was happening. I wasn't talking shit on his dogs. I was saying this is what so-and-so said. And because I didn't even know the guy's name. That's what I told him. I was like, I don't even know your name. Turns out it's a good guy. Talked with him for a while. So I try to be careful with the things I say, and I want to make sure they're clear. So that way there's no deception or misconceptions about anything. So
fair enough.
So if we say something on here, and if you'll notice, if you've watched this or listened this long, you know that I say it works for us or what we do. Doesn't mean that it's right or wrong. So it's one of those deals where, I'm not going, if I'm going to talk about somebody, I'm going to call your name out. I'm going to know who you are. And normally I don't really do that. I don't have no reason to. You do you and I do me.
Yeah.
There's only just been a couple of people that got under my skin on things, but
it happens.
It is what it is. But I just wanted to address that, and I told him, I said, look, I apologize if you took it that any sort of way. I apologize. I don't know why I'd even do that, but at the same time, hey, that's what I'll do. And yeah, I don't know. I don't even know the whole situation. I heard two stories, and I'll be honest, I don't even care. Like, I mean, it don't have nothing to do with me. So it's I just thought it was kind of funny. I needed to address it.
Yeah.
So, but if we recommend something and you try it, it works great. If it don't, I'm sorry. I apologize.
Yeah, there are too many variables for us to cover all the bases.
Yeah. Without a doubt.
I mean, it's so many opportunities for things to go right or wrong in every instance.
I mean, it's life.
Yeah.
It's like shit changes constantly. When you're dealing with dogs, and people that have been dealing with dogs a long time, they know. You can it's almost like you can never count on it 100% every time.
Yeah. You
have some dogs that you'll be close. You'll be like, I'd almost bet on him. I'd almost bet on him, But every dog, they crap out. Everyone I've ever seen, they'll have good days, they'll have bad days. They'll have
just
some
like
days.
People.
Yeah. And people are the main problem with dogs, because people don't understand that it's a dog, it's an animal. It's one of those things where, and there's we were reading some stuff in Sport and Dog Journal. Is that the one Pete wrote?
Yeah, this is the one by Pete.
Yeah.
Dog talking to you.
Yeah, it's your dog's talking to you. I mean, the dog can't. They can tell you what it says on there. It's an article out of Sporting Dog Journal.
Yeah. And so it's got 9 bullet points here, and it's just about your dog talking to you, And so the first one says, put your trust in me. It is crucial to my well-being. The second one is, give me time to understand what you want from me. Number 3 is, don't be angry with me for long, and don't mistreat, ignore, or cuss me as punishment. You have work, entertainment, and friends. All I have is you. Number 4 is, talk to me sometimes. Even if I don't understand your words, I understand your voice. Number 5, be aware that however you treat me, I'll never forget. Number 6, please don't hit me. I can't hit back, but I can bite, and I really don't want to do that.
Yep.
Number 7, before you scold me for being uncooperative, obstinate, or lazy, ask yourself if something might be bothering me. Perhaps I am not getting the right foods, I'm overworked, or I've been out in the sun too long. Number 8, take care of me when I get old. You will grow old too. Number 9, Go with me on difficult journeys. Never say I cannot bear to watch or let it happen in my absence. Everything is easier for me if you were there.
Yep. And that's good points. And for most of us that's old enough to have had dogs for years and years, we all should understand exactly what that means. I mean, like when they say, hey, we'll grow old together. You have dogs that you've had for 15, 16 years.
Yeah.
They're a part of you. They should be. If they're not, you're a piece of shit.
I agree. If you don't give a shit about your dogs,
I believe that if you will pull a dog out of a dog box and whoop the shit out of it for the least little thing, but you won't slap a man for that, then you're a piece of shit. I believe if you'll take and stomp a dog's head down on the ground or take a chain and whoop that dog's ass, but you won't say nothing to your brother-in-law or your daddy because you ain't man enough, you're a piece of shit. Just things like that. That stuff, there's ways to handle things, and I ain't talking to one person either. I'm just saying in general. I've seen so many people do this.
It happen.
They will whoop a dog till it can't. I'm for nothing, but they don't want no problems. They avoid conflict at all costs. I'm like, but you'll beat on a damn dog.
The only time I'm gonna show enough whoop a dog is if he's trying to bite me. Mm-hmm. I'm trying to get away. Usually on that, don't happen often. Or damn dog fight. Yeah. Dog aggression. Just being a mongoloid.
Well, generally, there's ways to handle that.
Yeah.
It's called culling.
Yeah.
You don't have to waste all that time, effort, and energy. That quick, it's over, you move on. And that might sound like one end of the spectrum to the other. There's a lot of people might think I'm a piece of shit because I say that. But at the same time, I'm not going to just keep this dog over here, and every time it doesn't do something that I don't like, and just whoop his ass because it's my whipping boy. No, I don't believe in that. Yeah. I mean, look, if it's not going to fit me, chances are I'm going to send it to somebody who it'll fit.
Yeah, exactly.
There's not a lot of times that we actually have to cull because you have good bloodlines and you produce good dogs.
Typically it's for something like extreme dog aggression.
Yeah.
It's just like this dog is just killing dogs. I got
away from a lot of that because for a long time we had dogs like that. They were dog aggressive. I mean, it didn't take much and the fight was on. And so instead of having to deal with that constantly, I changed my whole deal.
We changed our breeding program, the dogs that we own. We got dogs that weren't dog aggressive. And we don't really, I don't know when we have any dog fights anymore.
I had to have a 12-hole trailer to carry 12 dogs. And I mean, because there was 0 dogs you boxed together. And now I can put however many I want for the most part. Every now and then, of course, that's anything, though. There's going to be a little arguing or something like that. But I don't know. The whole thing, like you said, I told my youngest son, Logan, the same thing, like with the dogs. I was like, if the dog wasn't our pet or our livestock, it wouldn't even matter because he could take care of himself. You turn him loose, he could survive in the wild. But when you got them where they can't fend for themselves, you have to do it.
Oh, yeah.
You have to take care of it. You got to do it. And it can't be like, well, can we just wait till tomorrow? No, don't. Well, how about you don't eat tonight or you don't drink nothing tonight? And then, yeah. And I'll be honest, everybody knows it. You don't have to feed a dog twice a day at all. I know for years it was every other day on a lot of dogs. That's a lot of the game dog stuff. Yeah. And and they were fine. There's no big, and there's still people that do that. And I did that for a long time with certain dogs, but certain breeds, they need to be fed every day.
Oh, yeah.
And they don't have to be fed an extreme amount at one time. That's why some people, like doing twice a day when we got dogs that were working, getting them ready to hunt, getting them in shape, or you got a dog that's had pups. You feed them twice a day. Make sure they got what they need. Make sure they got all the extra stuff in it as well. That's why I said those little articles right there. That's good stuff.
Here's another one. This one's on simple characteristics, and this one's describing the American Pit Bull Terrier. Mm-hmm. And so the first one is gameness, unyielding in nature, ready and willing. The second one is temperament. Need I say more? And then tenacity, holding firm, persistent. And it says these terms should help you understand our dogs. The breed is said to be scented, and it goes on like how the bulldog came and what it was used for. Mm-hmm. And so it's like I see these, and it's like, these are still very applicable in basically every working dog.
Yeah,
gameness, temperament, and tenacity.
Well, that's what we look for, especially in the hog dog stuff.
Yeah, I'd say drive would be one that would probably be added, but I mean, I feel like that could be.
I don't know if you couldn't have drive without gameness.
Yeah,
or gameness without drive. Yeah. I don't know. It'd be hard to.
Yeah,
if you had a dog that had gameness.
Is there a difference between drive and hunt?
I think so, without a doubt.
Yeah.
To me, and I mean,
yeah.
I can get analytical with it.
Oh, yeah.
You want to know what the difference is, but that's just me.
Like I said, words are just based upon their meaning.
What is drive?
The willingness to go.
To go. A bird dog most of them have tons of drive. A lot of them they got tons of hunt, but they don't hunt like a walker dog.
No, or like a running walker.
Like a running walker. That some bitch wants to catch. He runs to catch. He wants to get it. He wants to go. He'll die. He'd rather run himself to death. That's hunt. Or you get an old slow dog that'll grub up a track. There's nothing else around. And he keeps his nose working and working and working and working.
But he's got way more hunt than he's got drive.
Exactly. He might not have the drive. And when I say that, he does have drive and willingness to go.
Yeah.
But he's got more hunt than drive. How much bottom does he have? The bottom part, to me, that's the drive. When I say, well, dog got a lot of bottom. Yeah. Deep bottom dog, he ain't going to quit.
That's his willingness to go.
That's the drive part. The hunt, a lot of people, that's what I said. This is just me. Yeah. This is nothing written in stone
this ain't
for
the
anybody else. Exactly. I want a dog that hunts for me and him or her. Either way. I want a dog that wants to go. And I want a dog that it doesn't necessarily have to go a mile or 3 miles or go until the end of time until he finds whatever game he's after. I want a dog that wants to hunt. That's why we have different ranges on dogs. Why it fits certain needs more than others. When you have a dog that you can walk hunt and he'll go 300 to 500 yards, make circles, hunt real hard, come back and check in. That's where I like that bird dog stuff in there or terrier stuff. I like to cross that. I cross the terrier stuff with the bird dog stuff. Then I get that 600 yard to 800 yard dog that will beat the briars down. I don't give a fuck where you're going. That son of a bitch is going to hunt. But he doesn't have no way out yonder hunt. But he's got tons of drive. He's got gameness. He's got grit, determination, the willingness to go. So that's why I said there's a difference to me. When you say you got a dog that has drive, okay, look at a Rottweiler. The German bred Rottweilers or German Shepherds or Dutch Shepherds or Belgian Malinois. Those dogs have so much drive. Look at the agility dogs. They have drive. Them motherfuckers ain't got no hunting. That's why I said that's the difference. And there are a lot of people, they're like, they try to discuss that. And I'm like, there's the difference. You can take an agility dog or a dog that just, like Kelpies, shit like that. They got so much drive because they want to. They want to do it. They want to do it. Weight pull dogs. Same thing. You got this other lunatic, this guy out here that runs around doing parkour. That's drive. That's just wanting to do it.
Yeah.
It ain't nothing gonna stop. That's like when you see it, look like a lot of people say, boy, that dog right there is game as hell. Yeah. You know, there's a difference just because the dog wants to hunt a lot or because he wants to fight a lot. There's, to me, and like I said, this is just me, having something that's game. And I hear people all the time talk about that's a game bred dog. And I talk about old game stock. But the ones I'm talking about, they were all proven. Yeah. It wasn't like, well, they came off of this dog. No, every one of them was proven.
Yeah. So what would be the difference between gameness and hardness?
That's like an ongoing thing that I've heard for years and years and years.
I've heard the same discussion before.
Okay, I know dogs that have gameness. They want to go.
Is gameness and more?
They'll come across the line. They'll come out of the corner, and they ain't quitting. And they'll go. But they might not can take the abuse. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. They can. Well, let's back that. Let's don't use that now. Let's don't use that. Let's go.
Gameness is willingness to engage.
Let me finish. That's what I said. Let me use another analogy or another scenario. Let's use a Patterdale and a Jag. Yeah. Okay. You take this, and I'm talking about the ones I own, not other people's. Which, some form or fashion, they come from somewhere. The Jags that I've owned, or the Dixieland stuff, they have a ton of gameness, ton of it, but they don't have the hardness. The Patterdales I've owned, they have the hardness, and I'm talking about hard. Like you can hit that sumbitch with a hammer.
It's like UFC fighting, exactly. Like Clint Carpenter versus Conor McGregor.
No, it's like Clay Guida.
Yeah. That's what I meant, not Clint Carpenter.
Well, Clint might beat the shit out of somebody.
Guida, there it is.
Clint might beat the shit out of somebody. He looks pretty tough. I mean, he really does.
I don't want to fight him.
He looks rough. Mean as hell. Stinks twice as bad. But yes, that's what I'm talking about. When you have somebody that will just hang in there, and there's a lot of people that says, well, that's game. Yes, it is. But you also have to be able to take that abuse. Like I said, there's a lot of dogs that don't mind the fight. They don't mind the contact. They don't mind hanging on to their opponent. And it doesn't mean another dog either. That means, whether it's a hog or a badger. That's what I was saying. So if you go hold a dog down in a hole on a badger, and that thing is just eating him up, some of them will back up and bark.
Start squealing and stuff.
Well, some of them will back up and bark. They'll bay because they want to do it, and they're still engaged, but they don't just take that abuse. They don't just take it. Like I said, there's a difference. Like I said, there's some guys who have cauliflowered ears because it was an accident or they were just hanging on all they could. There's some guys who have cauliflowered ears because they just stayed till the end. And that's two different kind of guys. I mean, that's serious. And there's some guys who don't have cauliflowered ears because they don't fucking need it. And that's the total package. And I'm sure there's other people out here that analyze stuff and they think totally different, and that's up to them.
And if you do, hell, let us know.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I said. That doesn't mean, I just said from me. But it also has to be in the same scenario.
Yeah.
I can't do this. I can't say, okay, well, there's what I'm putting out. I'm talking more along the lines of the Southern battle dog. I'm talking about a different animal. I'm not talking about a big game hound that's game as hell and as hard as a rock, because they're there. They're out there. There's dogs that will run till the pads of their feet are gone and run some more. And then when they get there, they don't want to bathe that son of a bitch very long. They want to grab him. They want to kill him. And I'm not talking about a 150-pound pig. I'm talking about a bear in a cave or a mountain lion in a cave. And then they'll kill them. That's how tough they are. That's how hard they are. they can take the abuse, getting their ass whooped, and still stay in there to the end of the fight. Doesn't necessarily mean they win. That's like everybody talks about a dog being dead game. If that some bitch is alive, how do you know? So it has to be to the point of
resuscitation, basically.
Yes. It has to be to that point. I've seen very few hunting dogs that were like that in my life. I've only seen 2. That what I mean, and when I say hunting dogs, I don't mean pit bulls.
Yeah.
I don't mean any type of bulldog at all. I've seen several that were game. I'm talking about they were game, buddy. They were there to just about to the last drop. But I watched the damn little yellow cur dog last year take his last breath with his damn teeth still clenched. Yeah. Last year, Joe Charlie was hanging on. Finally, I pulled him out.
He bled out on the ear.
Yeah, like he was literally done. And the whole time he wouldn't let go. And I was like, that's what you call dead game. Like, and I mean, it sucks. That's one of them deals where you just want to cry. If crying will make it better, I would. And then I got a hide back here. Everything that's inside of him is outside of him. And he's fucking lungs popping out and shit like that. And this son bitch is scratching, trying to go. You have to hold him down. That's why I said not everybody has that same type of dog.
No.
There's some people that say, hey, these dogs are rough. And when they say their dogs are rough, they'll bay a hog, they'll bite a hog a little bit. But when they get their ass whooped a little, they'll back up. They'll get out of it. When I say rough, it's a catch dog. For the most part, it's pretty much a catch dog.
Yeah.
And I don't mean like...
They mean a rough bay dog.
Well, that's what I'm saying. And that's great. There's nothing wrong with
that dog's a bay dog.
But when I say rough dog, me and Mr. Kevin Brooks have a line on rough dogs. And mine might even be more extreme than that because mine ain't going to bark.
Because Charlie was a rough dog.
I'm talking about mine ain't going to bark. When they say, oh boy, he backed him up and barked. No, he's not. No, he's not. That son of a bitch, he's done. I promise you. If he ain't hanging on, he's done. Because they ain't going to be no bark.
I would consider Charlie a rough dog, and he bayed 2 hogs ever and caught the rest.
Exactly.
And I think both times he bayed because he was alone.
Well, one night, the only time that he ever actually bayed was the first time he ever seen a hog, and he barked 3 or 4 times and then caught. Yeah. So that was the end of that. And then that night we was over in the cornfield, there was a whole sounder. And he started barking. And I think that's the only thing I could think. Like he was, he didn't know whether to catch or not.
At night, I mean,
he just didn't know whether. And I wished he would have. I wished I could have got another couple years out of him because he like really turned on late. He was a late bloomer. Everybody I know would have called that dog. But I knew there was something about him, and when we sent King. Which, I mean, he was always there. He was the greatest help dog. He was the greatest dog.
Oh, if there was a whimper, Charlie was going.
Yeah, like, I mean, he'll cut out and he ain't coming back. But we sent King over to Keaton Temple to do some breedings. And so I was like, well, I'm just going to move Charlie up to run with Hank. That was a bad pair. But now King and Hank, that's a whole nother deal. Yeah. That's another level. That shit right there that, if I could duplicate that, I mean, and we've been trying, like we're trying, but I don't know. It's hard to even keep anything because that's what you got to compare it to. Because they got to
have the sense.
Well, you got to compare it to that.
Yeah.
And it's when you look and you're like, man, that dog's doing pretty good. But well, when so-and-so did this, so it's like, shit, it ain't really that good. It's just better than some. And there's a lot out there that's way better. I guarantee you.
Guaranteed. Yeah. And another one of these characteristics was temperament. Mm-hmm. And so do you think there's like a lot of correlation between a dog's temperament and how hard and how much drive and hunt they have?
Yeah. To an extent.
Yeah. There's oddballs, of course. But.
Well, I think depending on the type of temperament you're talking about, the dog's actual temperament. Like you got like Jags, most of them's crazy, but they're just so high drive dogs. They're wide open. They want to go all the time. Well, Lite Hounds want to go too. Every one of them I ever seen was just chilled, laid back, just cool and calm.
Jags typically don't chill out until a couple of years.
Yeah. Well, I have to back up on that one because you got to be careful on that because that's not the same Jags that like. There's probably 10 or 15 of us guys.
Yeah.
That the Jags, they know the Jags we're talking about.
Yeah.
And then the rest of them, they got what started getting bred up about 10 years ago. Everybody's just breeding whatever. You got damn Jags that are paying a house cat. And there should never be that, ever.
Or a Jag shunning away from a coon. And it's like,
yeah. When you take a half-grown Jag and he turns from a half-grown coon, something ain't going right. But like I said, the temperament thing is there's dogs that like I said, it's this real high prey drive and they're wound up real tight. Yeah, I think they'll bite you, jump around. If you try to hold them, they're wiggling and trying to go. And like I said, but I've seen some other dogs that's just as much drive, but they're just chilled and relaxed. And so that just goes to the breed. That's what I have to say. Me, that goes to the breed.
I agree.
Because like Lily was the hardest dog I've ever owned. One of the gamest dogs I've ever seen. Best temperament I've ever seen, period. Like, I mean, passed her CGC test and all that stuff. I could leave her with anybody and she would mind them until I told her not to mind them. And then she's no longer your friend.
Yeah.
And never was one incident. Never was an accident ever in 15 years.
Oh, yeah. I sicked her on quite a few people. And she never just bit anybody for the hell of it. But if they were dicking around, and I was like, get them.
She got them. And she knew how hard to grab them.
And I'd be like, easy, don't bite them so hard. Well, I was like, hurt them.
Yeah. But that's what you get when you mess with dogs like that.
There was several boys I went to high school with that learned a hard lesson. That dog won't bite me. I'm like, that dog will bite you. They'll be like, well, I'm petting it. I'll be like, I'll bet you $20 that dog will bite you. Oh, yeah? Get him, Lily. I'd be like, easy, don't bite him so hard. She'd be like grabbing his pants. Like, I'm like, now bite him hard just a little. And she'd just give him one good nip on the calf.
Wish I could have bottled that up and just kept it. The sense that dog had. And I don't know. Probably never get that lucky again. That's one of them deals where just when you get one like that, everybody knows. You'll know. Everybody will know. Because you're like, this son bitch right here, like, there's no training, no nothing like that. It's just like, let's get it. That dog wants to go. That's it. That's the total package you're talking about. That's that total package. And it's generally found in a pit bull, a true American pit bull terrier. That's where most of those people, when you go back on those dogs, is that or a damn old bird dog, something, looks like it's fixing to rain us out again.
Yeah.
Well, anything else you want to add? We hate to kind of cut it short because we were doing pretty good there. We're going to continue on with these segments like this for a lot of the guys who've requested it. In the studio here, we got a lot of storms been hitting us all day. Well, the last couple of days, really. Power been out at our house since 4 o'clock this morning, and it's 6 o'clock this evening now.
Yep.
And the next one's rolling in right now. So we're going to try to cut it short so that way we don't have to deal with any power issues for the camera and all the equipment. And so if anything that we discussed in this episode, if you got some input on it, let us know. Comment or message us. If there's a topic that we could talk about, that's one of the things that we have to deal with. That's one of the hardest thing. I never thought it'd be a hard thing to do is find enough topics to really focus on without constantly talking about the same thing. So if there's a topic and you have like a PowerPoint on it that you want to see, let us know. And it's, we appreciate all the listeners. We're steadily gaining viewers, subscribers on all our social media, on these platforms, and we really appreciate it. I want to thank to all the people who supported us. Dude, you have no idea. Lance Criswell, you the man. I don't give a damn. That man's been with us since day one. Every single time. He contributes. He does his part, without a doubt. That's Crockett's Taxidermy. The man makes beer. He makes sausage, and he can stuff a deer.
Without anything else.
Yeah.
Him and his wife
does the best.
Are phenomenal.
The cat, like bobcats and stuff. Dude, if you need some serious taxidermy work done, holler at Crockett's Taxidermy. He's out there in Ozona, Texas. I think that's where he's at, correct?
Yeah, Ozona, I believe.
And he knows what a jag is, too. Big Gus, the man. But, and there's, like I said, Southern Cross, Garmin, Showtime, hogbaying.com, just multitude of people that support us. Animal Housing Solutions, they've jumped on board with us, and they really support us a lot. Boars N Broads, that's our partners right there, man. And Uncle Pat, dude, we're gonna get Uncle Pat back on here and get into some. I want to get into some stuff about the dogs, like especially like the nutrition and their bodies,
conditioning,
how they work, what makes a dog work from the inside. I think things like that will really hook up. Y'all keep up with all these guys that do this stuff and are putting out good content, good footage. Justin Becker, Not Normal Adventures. He's got good stuff. Check him out on YouTube. Python Cowboy. He's clicking along pretty good. And we got the Blondes and Boars. They've come out. So we're going to try to keep hunting with them, or they hunting with us, or however you want to do it, and make this thing roll on and keep full steam ahead.
Thank you.
And until next time, we'll see y'all.